notice it's tough to follow that kind of accent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do my best in my North Carolina/Arizona accent. So before I get going, I want to tell you guys all how appreciative I am of being here. I think I'm probably the youngest, greenest one here. And every person I've talked to, I feel like I can take a piece of me with you guys. And so I feel really lucky to be here. I know it's not part of the presentation, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm really appreciative of being here. So I've done a few workshops, and some that I've done have been workshops that combine a bunch of workshops, trying to sell more workshops. And so a piece that we've really focused on, that I had a lot of experience with as the head coach at Virginia Tech for 8 years, was this culture piece. So we're just going to do a little snippet of that, okay? And when we get to this slide, we talk a lot about culture and the definitions of culture, and I've heard all sorts of definitions, common values, where you're from. And one of my favorite definitions of culture has been when I got attached to PCA. Okay, and it's talking about the way we do things here. I thought it was one of the most empowering definitions of culture, because you can do it wherever you are. Okay, and you can impact it wherever you go. And so for me, I threw all the rest of the definitions out. Okay, they're never going to be in there again. And this definition is going to go with me in my family. Okay, and anything that I do, I'm going to impact, okay, the way we do things here. And so I want you guys to take a minute and find a partner, share, and talk to your partner about the importance of culture for you as a coach, okay? As a double goal coach moving forward, why is the way you do things here or with your program so important? Okay, so take the next minute to talk about the culture of your program, what it looks like, and why it's important. So go ahead and go, and we'll talk about it in a second. All right. That's right. We don't mess around here with our time. Okay, so the culture, the way we do things here. Who wants to share real quick what you or your partner talked about in terms of culture, the way you do things in your program, why it's so important? Who wants to share? Give us an idea of the importance there. Yes, Mario.
Our folks need to, in our program, need to know what is expected of them, how we expect them to act.
Great, so set a standard.
Set a standard, right.
Great. What else? What are some other ideas of culture and why it's important? Yep.
We spoke a little bit, and something that I've seen a lot in the last few weeks is a quote. And one of our ambassadors for PCS said it at a coaching network. And the quote is that culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Love it.
And I think it was the guy from Ford that said that, and that really hits.
You want to come up and do this session? Okay. Yeah, I love it. Great, right? Culture eats strategy for breakfast. That'd be a good takeaway for you guys today. One more share, yeah.
I'm tweeting that right now.
One of the ways in our workshop that we talk about culture is a shared collection of habits. So when I work with my youth basketball program, we talk about setting the culture at the beginning. So the culture also not only involves your team goals, but also your personal goals.
Great. Again, so a set of standards, and also we call it the cup runneth over. Okay, how can you kind of share in your family dynamics with your team? How do you get those working together? How do you get your cup to runneth over to one another? It's a great example. When I was at Virginia Tech, I got there as a very, very young head coach. I was 26 years old, coming off of a professional playing career that I saw coming to a very short end. So I saw the writing on the wall. And I had a chance to go to Virginia Tech as the head coach and took it. And we went, the very first year, we tied the school record in wins, which was 9. It was 9 years of losing seasons prior to me getting there, and losing in far more than the scoreboard. So my second season I got there, we recruited 9 kids. All 9 of them started. Had the ACC Freshman of the Year, the Rookie of the Year. Okay, she tore ACL the very first game of the ACC tournament. Never came back again. We made it to the first ever postseason that year. So let's fast forward to the next year. She comes in a huge knee brace. And I said, Stintz, trust me. Wait till the ACC play till you can get started on the field. We'll get you time, but you're not ready. And she couldn't do it. And she couldn't do it, and she couldn't do it. And then this started happening, and this started happening, and the cancer grew. And it was after that season and 6 wins, okay, that I looked at myself as a young head coach in the toughest league in America and said, what the hell are you doing? Okay? And how are you going to get to where you want to go? And it's through culture creation. And it was at that very time that we did self-assessments and we established 6 core values. And they're at the bottom of this screen. Acceptance, accountability, balance, compete, excellence, and responsibility. And those were our program's 6 core values that we were going to live by for that time forward. We coached by them. We made decisions based on them. We were the human beings based on these values. And the cup runneth over from our program into our family life. And so fast forward even more, we start winning. And we start winning collectively in the right way. And it starts to feel good. Okay, because we're doing it together. There's consistency. Good culture requires consistency. Okay, we're all on the same page. And then one of the worst things that's ever happened to me happened. I was at Virginia Tech when the shootings happened. We were training. And our program endured something that I hope I never have to do again. But it was a life-changing moment for me and sequence of months. More because of how our team was able to move forward. We were training that day. My daughter was across campus, had a cross-campus daycare that I had to go get her. And then for the next 2 months, I was 26 young ladies' moms, not to mention the one that I had. And I realized that it was in the culture that we established prior to this that allowed us to move forward in the way that we wanted to. Okay, a bum situation is going to happen to every one of us as coaches and as human beings and as athletes. Certainly you don't hope that that happens to an environment like Virginia Tech. But what you can rest assured to know for us is that the next day we could accept one another. The next day we could be accountable for one another. The next day we could have balance in our grief. Get my drift? The best part about our culture that we had established prior is that when I saw them the next day with tears in their eyes, it wasn't the first time that we tried to get to know each other. We had already done it. So moving forward, I encourage you to establish culture before you need it. Okay? Figure out the way that you want to do things there. Align your values with how you're going to do them. Make decisions based on your values. And know that in your toughest moments, you've already established what it is, who you want to be. And for us, it was the best thing, the silver lining that came out of a really tough time for us. So thanks for being here today. I appreciate you guys listening to me about the culture we had here.